Okay, welcome back to the E-Managerial website. I'm Professor San. Today I wish to share with you what is a control list, or we can say the control category that we need to identify for the IT department. So if you are working as a IT auditor or IT compliant, IT governance, and also IT risk management. So you need to go in deep what is the control type and what is the activity and what is the purpose of control that you need to identify and verify and testing whether the control are properly work effectively and efficiently. So I define in the three major control. One is operation control, and the second is application control, and the third one is a security control, and the last one is called a physical control. So the operation control, we define is many, like backup control. But backup control we require to determine and communicate for all activity that involve with the sensitive and confidential of data and information on the organization, and need to be backed up to ensure that we can recovery in case of the system failure or disruption or unavailability when the business faced with a crisis or disaster event. So the next is a recovery plan, or we can treat as a operation control. So the recovery plan we refer to the develop document and test recovery procedure that define and address to ensure that the application and information and infrastructure can be recovered using the backup created in the event of crisis. So the next is a risk analysis. This is part of the operation control. The risk analysis purposely is to conduct the risk analysis to determine the level of exposure, to identify threat vulnerability and asset, and evaluate to identify the possible safeguard of control. The next is antivirus, or we can treat as the operation control also. One is ensure the LAN administrator install the corporate standard anti-viral software on all computers. And the second is training and awareness of virus protection technique and will be incorporated into the organization information protection program. So the next is interface dependency. It's a part of the operation control. This control purposely to fit information will be identified and communicate to operation to stress the impact of the functionality if the feeder application are unavailable. So the next control is maintenance control. It's a time requirement for technical maintenance will be tracked and required for judgment and validation will be communicated to management is experience warranted. And the next is a service level agreement. It's a part of operation control, purposely to acquire the service level agreement or operational level agreement to establish the level of customer expectation and the business user need and assurance from the supporting operations, and also acquire to maintain and supplier agreement to facilitate continued operational status of the application. So the next is a change management. It's a part of the operation control. The change management is purposely production migration control such as a search and remove process to ensure that data stored are clean. So the next is business impact analysis. This is a very important control to identify the formal business impact analysis will be conduct and determine the asset relative criticality with the other enterprise assets. So the next is a backup. Like a training for a backup to the system administrator will be provided and UT rotate between them to ensure the adequacy of the training program. So the next is a formal employee security awareness program has been implemented and is up to date and presented to the employee at least one annual basis. So the next is a risk analysis is to implement the user authentication mechanism such as a firewall, line control, secure ID to limit the access to authorized personnel. This is involved with the least privilege and to ensure that the privilege grant to the need to know basis, need to have basis, and need to access basis upon the standard of behavior. So the next is the application control. So the application control meaning that we rely on the system that we trigger on the security appliance. So the one is application control purposely to design, implement application control such as data entry, editing, checking, field acquiring, validation, alarm indicator, password expiration capability, checksum, to ensure the integrity of confidentiality and availability of the application information. The next is acceptance testing. We can say the UAT, user acceptance testing, meaning that we develop the testing procedure to be followed during application development and during the modification to existing application that include the user participation and acceptance. This control, we need to facilitate the requirement that the user acquire to enhance some module in the critical system to meet the business objective. So the IT project development team or project leader need to facilitate this area to ensure that we can provide the service delivery upon the business objective. So the next is training. So the training on the application control purposely to implement the user program designed to encourage the compliance with policy and procedure in place to ensure the appropriate utilization of the application. So the next is the application developer will provide the documentation, guidance, support to the operation staff in implementing mechanism to ensure that the transfer of the information between applications is secure. The next is a corrective strategy. The development team will develop the corrective strategy such as reverse progress, revive application login, something like that. So the next is a policy is to develop the security control on the policy and procedure to limit the access and operating privilege to those with business needs. And the training is required to user training will include instruction and documentation on the proper use of the application. So the importance of maintaining the confidentiality of the user account, password, and confidential and competitive nature of the information will be stressed. So the next is a review of the security control to implement mechanism to monitor, report, audit activity identified as requiring independent review, including periodic review of the user ID to ascertain and verify with the business need. So the next control is asset classification. The asset under the review will be classified during the enterprise policy standard procedure on asset classification. So the next is asset control. It's a it's a popular control mechanism that risk management also emphasize on this particular control, purposely to design and focus on the mechanism to protect the database against unauthorized access, and modification made from outside application will be determined and implemented. So the next is management support. We consider this control include as a management oversight on security control to request management to support to ensure the cooperation and coordination of various business units. So the next is it means that data privacy, or we can say the uh, data ownership, and is to process are in place to ensure that the company can work with the data privacy or data protection as an asset owner, that we can protect that a company is in a compliant with all third-party license agreement. So the next is security awareness to implement an asset control mechanism to prevent unauthorized access to information. This mechanism will include the possibility of detecting login and reporting attempt to break the security of this information. So the next is asset control that involved with the security control mechanism to implement the encryption, or we can say that adhere to the change management process, and also uh, measurable on the appropriate system log are reviewed timely by dependent judgment or independent reviewer to ensure that the activity are fulfilled and fit to purpose. So the next is change management on security control. Backup requirement will be determined and communicated to the operation, including the request that electronic notification that backup were complete and to be sent to the application system administrator, and also operation will be required to test the backup procedure. This is an area that involved with a change process or change control under the security control. So the next is monitor system log. So normally the IT infra or person in charge or system owner or system operator, they need to develop, document, and test recovery procedure to be designed to ensure that the application information can be recovered using the backup created in the event of losses. So the last is physical security to conduct a risk analysis to determine and measure the level of exposure, to identify the threat or vulnerability, to identify the possible safeguard and control. This is a control category that I come up uh, that we can support the IT department. What is a control activity need to be oversight or need to be maintained and monitored as a regular basis. So the IT security or IT governance, they need to assess as a regular basis to ensure the control is up to date and can traceable. So thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and share.